What if everything you learned in history class was a lie? Imagine in 1901, divers exploring a shipwreck off the coast of Greece find a lump of corroded bronze. For decades, it sits in a museum, dismissed as junk. But when scientists finally X-ray it, their jaws hit the floor. This isn't just a corroded clock, it's an ancient computer, built over 2,000 years ago. Inside are dozens of intricate gears, more complex than anything from that era, designed to predict solar eclipses and the movement of planets with terrifying accuracy. Today, we're counting down 10 artifacts that are so impossible, so out of place, that they break history wide open. Kicking off our list is the very artifact that proves ancient people were smarter than we give them credit for, the Antikythera mechanism. In 1901, sponge divers stumbled on an ancient Roman shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera. Among the statues and pottery, they pulled up a mysterious, gear-filled lump of bronze. For over 50 years, no one knew what it was. It sat as a corroded mess in a museum, completely overlooked. Can you imagine holding a 2,000-year-old computer and not even knowing it? It wasn't until scientists used advanced X-ray and CT scanning that they uncovered its true purpose. CT scans revealed a system of over 30 interlocking bronze gears, as intricate and precise as a modern Swiss watch. This wasn't just a clock, it was an astronomical calculator of unbelievable complexity. It could track the movements of the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. It could even predict solar and lunar eclipses years in advance, down to the exact hour. The gears had differential turning, a technology historians thought was invented in 14th century Europe. This device predates that by over 1,500 years. Imagine you're on a hike, you find a weird-looking rock and you crack it open. Inside, you don't find a fossil, you find a hammer. That's exactly what happened to Max Hahn and his family in 1936 near London, Texas. They found a rock nodule with a piece of wood sticking out. When they broke it open, they discovered a modern-looking iron hammerhead encased in the stone. The tool itself looked surprisingly normal, but the rock surrounding it was the real mystery. Geologists who examined the rock formation claimed it was from the Cretaceous period, making it over 100 million years old. Let me say that again. A hammer, found inside rock, that is supposedly older than the dinosaurs. This is what we call an out-of-place artifact, and it's a big one. How could a man-made tool, a symbol of advanced civilization, exist tens of millions of years before humans were supposed to walk the earth? Naturally, the scientific community is extremely skeptical. The mainstream explanation is that the hammer is a 19th century miner's tool that fell into a crack. Over time, minerals dissolved and re-hardened around it, forming a new rock shell called a concretion. This process can happen much faster than millions of years. They argue that the original claims about the rock's age were never properly verified by peer-reviewed studies. It sounds like a plausible explanation, right? But here's where it gets weirder. The man who bought the hammer, Carl Baugh, a creationist, had the metal tested. The analysis allegedly showed it was 96.6% iron, 2.6% chlorine, and 0.74% sulfur. This composition is strange because modern iron manufacturing processes don't typically produce iron with this much chlorine. Chapter 4. They are some of the most beautiful and unsettling artifacts ever found: crystal skulls. These are human-sized skulls, intricately carved from single solid blocks, clear quartz, milky quartz. Over a dozen have been found around the world, but the most famous one is the Mitchell-Hedges skull. Anna Mitchell-Hedges in the ruins of a Mayan city in Belize in the 1920s. The craftsmanship is simply breathtaking. How were they made? The quartz they are carved from is extremely hard, a 7 on the Mohs scale. Modern analysis of the skulls shows almost no tool marks, leading some to believe they were painstakingly carved and then polished with sand for hundreds of years. The Mitchell-Hedges skull is even more amazing. Its jaw is a separate, articulated piece carved from the very same block of crystal. How could ancient civilizations, without modern tools, achieve this level of precision? The mystery deepens when you look at the legends surrounding them. An ancient Mayan legend claims that there are 13 sacred crystal skulls. Grant their user vast knowledge about the universe. Unlock the secrets of our past. and prevent a catastrophe that will end the world. It's a legend that has inspired movies and captured the public imagination for decades. Could these objects really hold some kind of mystical power or stored information? However, the story has a massive catch. In recent years, scientific analysis using electron microscopes at places like the British Museum has revealed something shocking. Many of the most famous skulls, including the one in the British Museum, and a similar one in Paris, show clear marks from modern, high-speed rotary carving tools. This suggests they were likely made in 19th century Germany, not ancient Mesoamerica. Even the Mitchell-Hedges skull's origin story is heavily disputed. So are they all fakes, or are the fakes just hiding the existence of one true ancient skull? Chapter 6. There is a book in Yale University's Rare Book Library that is one of the most mysterious objects on Earth. It's called the Voynich Manuscript. It's a 240-page book, written sometime in the early 15th century according to carbon dating. The pages are filled with beautiful, flowing script and hundreds of bizarre illustrations. Drawings of plants that don't exist on Earth. Strange astronomical charts with zodiac signs. Detailed pictures of naked women bathing in pools, connected by intricate plumbing. It looks like a manual for another world. Here's the problem. For 600 years, no one has been able to read a single word of it. The text is written in a completely unknown alphabet, and it has resisted every single attempt at decryption. The world's best cryptographers, including the code breakers who cracked Nazi ciphers in World War II, have tried and failed. The language doesn't follow the patterns of any known language. It's so strange that some people think it's not a language at all. This has led to dozens of wild theories about what the manuscript could be. One theory, an elaborate cipher, a secret text written by someone like Leonardo da Vinci, or a secret society containing forbidden knowledge. Another theory, a lost language, the only surviving text from a forgotten culture. The strange plants and charts could be from a world of alchemy or ancient medicine that we no longer understand. But there is another, more disappointing possibility. What if it's all just a meaningless hoax? Some experts believe the manuscript was created by a clever con artist in the 15th century to sell to a wealthy, gullible patron. The text might be complete gibberish, cleverly designed to look like a real language. But if it's a hoax, it's the most elaborate and successful one in history. The fact that its vellum and ink are authentically from the 1400s means that whoever wrote it went to incredible lengths. Is it a window into a lost world? Or the world's oldest and most beautiful piece of spam? Housed in a cathedral in Turin, Italy, is a 14-foot-long linen cloth that bears the faint, ghostly image of a crucified man. For millions of Christians around the world, this is no ordinary cloth. This is the Shroud of Turin, believed to be the actual burial cloth of Jesus Christ. The image on the shroud shows the front, the back, a beard, long hair, numerous wounds. Marks from a crown of thorns, whipping, a spear wound in his side. The image itself is the greatest mystery. It's not a painting, not a stain, not a scorch. In 1898, Secondo Pia photographed the shroud and made a shocking discovery. The image is a photographic negative. The developed negative revealed a clear positive portrait. How could a perfect negative exist centuries before photography? Scientists have been stumped for over 100 years. In 1988, the Vatican allowed radiocarbon samples to be taken. Labs tested the fibers. They concluded the shroud dated to 1260–1390 AD. For many, case closed, a medieval forgery. But the debate didn't end. Proponents questioned the sample's provenance. They argued the tested corner had been repaired by medieval nuns after a fire, contaminating the sample. Other scientists proposed an intense burst of radiation that seared the image and could have skewed the carbon-14 dating. Is it a clever fake or something that defies science? That question still divides scholars and believers alike. Chapter 8. In 1929, a German theologian working in the Topkapi Palace Library in Istanbul, Turkey, made an incredible discovery. He found a fragment of a map, drawn on gazelle skin, dated to the year 1513. The map was signed by an Ottoman admiral and cartographer named Piri Reis. Piri Reis noted on the map itself that he had compiled it from about 20 different source maps. including some ancient ones that were supposedly from the time of Alexander the Great. That's interesting, but what the map showed was what truly shocked the world. The map depicts the coast of Europe, North Africa, Brazil, with incredible accuracy for the time. But it also shows something that shouldn't be there: the coast of Antarctica. The map appears to show Antarctica's coastline without its ice cap. We know the Antarctic ice sheet is millions of years old. The continent wasn't officially discovered until 1820, over 300 years later. How could Piri Reis have known what Antarctica looked like under all that ice? That question sparked ancient astronaut and lost civilization theories. Proponents like Charles Hapgood argued the map proves a prehistoric advanced seafaring civilization. They say Piri Reis used copies of now-lost ancient maps. It hints at a hidden chapter of human history. Mainstream cartographers offer a simpler explanation. They say the Antarctica is really South America's southern coast, bent eastward to fit the parchment. They point to multiple errors and call the map remarkable, but not proof of lost knowledge. Yet the mystery of Piri Reis's source maps and the de-iced-looking landmass keeps the debate alive. Chapter 9. In 1961, 3 rock hunters were searching for geodes in the Coso Mountains of California. They found a promising-looking specimen, took it home, prepared to cut it open with a diamond saw. But as the blade bit into the rock, it shattered. Something inside was incredibly hard. After breaking more blades, they finally managed to get it open. Inside the geode, they didn't find crystals. They found something that looked exactly like a modern spark plug, encased in what seemed to be ancient, hardened clay. The object, which became known as the Coso artifact, was a baffling enigma. It had a central metal rod, a porcelain or ceramic insulator, and an outer casing of metal. Geologists who initially examined the rock said the geode could be up to 500,000 years old. A 500,000-year-old spark plug? That would mean that an industrial, machine-making civilization existed 500,000 years before our own. It's a claim so extraordinary it would force us to throw out every history book ever written. The story got even stranger when the artifact was X-rayed. The X-rays revealed more details, including a tiny spring or helix at the top of the object. The whole thing looked undeniably like a piece of complex, manufactured technology. For years it was championed by paranormal researchers and creationists as definitive proof of ancient high-tech civilizations, time travelers, or aliens leaving their junk behind. The object was put on display in a small museum, and the legend grew. But, like many of these stories, there's a more mundane explanation that eventually came to light. In the 2000s, investigators finally identified the object. It wasn't a 500,000-year-old piece of alien tech. It was a 1920s-era champion spark plug, the kind used in Ford Model T engines. Rock collectors and prospectors were common in the Coso Mountains back then. The theory is that the spark plug simply got encased in iron oxide and other minerals, forming a hard, rock-like concretion around it in just a few decades, not 500,000 years. The original geode was never a geode at all. Still, for a time, this little object made the world wonder. Chapter 10. Of all the lost artifacts in history, one stands above them all, not just a historical object, but an object of immense power, the Ark of the Covenant. According to the Bible, this wasn't just a fancy box, a gold-plated chest to hold the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments. The literal throne of God on earth. The descriptions of its power are terrifying. It could part rivers, it could destroy armies, it could level entire cities. Looking at it or touching it meant instant death. It was a weapon of God, carried by the Israelites through the desert, placed in Solomon's first temple in Jerusalem, the holiest object in Judaism. In 587 BC, the Babylonian army conquered Jerusalem and destroyed the temple. In that chaos, the Ark vanishes from the historical record. Nobody knows what happened. Captured and melted down, hidden by priests, taken somewhere else entirely. For 2,500 years, the search has been the ultimate treasure hunt. The theories are endless. Smuggled to Ethiopia? The Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims the real Ark rests in a small chapel in Axum. It's guarded by a single monk who may never leave. No one is allowed to see it. Buried under the Temple Mount? Hidden in the Qumran caves, taken by the Knights Templar to Europe, the mystery of the Ark has inspired countless books and movies, most famously Indiana Jones. If it was real, what was it? A divine object? A powerful piece of lost technology that generated energy? Or simply a symbolic chest whose legend grew over time? Until it's found, the Ark of the Covenant will remain history's greatest and most dangerous mystery. Outro. We've journeyed ancient computers, alien records, divine relics, impossible maps, hoax, lost technology, aliens, cover-up. From the collage, these forbidden artifacts all tell a different story than the one we find in our textbooks. They challenge what we think we know about our past and who we thought our ancestors were. Each one opens a door to a world of incredible possibilities. Are they simply elaborate hoaxes designed to fool us? Are they proof of forgotten technologies from lost, advanced civilizations? Or could they be something far greater, evidence of contact with divine or extraterrestrial beings? The line between history, myth, and a deliberate cover-up is incredibly thin. Maybe history isn't always written by the victors, but sometimes it's buried by them to protect a secret or preserve a narrative. The Antikythera mechanism proves that we've underestimated the ancient world. The other artifacts on this list suggest that the true history of humanity might be far stranger, more advanced, and more mysterious than we could ever imagine. The evidence is there, but the conclusion is up to you. Now I have to ask you, which of these artifacts do you think is real?